Yeah, I was slightly disappointed today. Very disappointed at the result, but disappointed at some of the play, some of the decisions we made again. I keep using the word decisions, but that is pretty much what costs us. When I look back on this season, fouls that we give away, you know, passes that we pick that maybe aren't the right ones in vital areas, and there's only so many times you can sort of blame the age of the players. Whilst we can't give them 300 games experience like that, but at the same time the same mistakes now. That's the 11th game, and it's a silly foul, and it's another header in the box that we haven't been able to deal with and that nobody's took responsibility for. So very disappointing in that respect, because we weren't brilliant today, but we certainly had enough about us to certainly have got a point out of the game. And sometimes you've got to do that. Sometimes you just got to accept it's not going to be your day, and you take a point, and you move on, and you get a point further up the table. But as I say, we've handed them a goal today, and it's that's probably one too many, and it's really disappointing.
Luke Molyneux injured just before the game. How is he?
Yeah, he's struggling with his hamstring, and only in the warm-up. He's been great. He trained yesterday and felt nothing, so it was just literally felt it in the warm-up. And with a hamstring injury, you really can't take a risk. There's a good chance if he did started the game, he might have only lasted 10-15 minutes, and he might have made it into a serious injury. Whereas hopefully this way we've nipped it in the bud, and it's not too serious. Obviously we're going to miss him because he's a very talented player, and he's very attack-minded player. And we missed a little bit of that today, and alongside obviously Luke Armstrong, who I think any team in this league would miss. So we haven't got hundreds, we haven't got loads of forward players. So it's disappointing when you've still got two out like that. But as I said before, we still had enough on the pitch to have won that game today, and they created very little. I thought certainly didn't test the keeper at all first half, but neither did we. But we knew as the game went on, second half, as the game opened up, we'd have the quality to pick them off. But you give them a leg up, and you give them something to hang on to, and then it becomes more difficult. And then the time starts to run down, and they're taking a minute to take throw-ins, and they're taking. But that's they're fighting for their lives. You have to expect that, and we have to be good enough to break them down. And we have on other days, but as I say, when you have off days, you just got to take that point and move on and keep another clean sheet, and that's a bitterly disappointing part.
What impact did Luke's injury make? Because obviously Cam Salkeld and Scott Barrow, who've been injured, ended up on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it does make a difference. Obviously, when you've worked on a system and a way to play, but Cam's been injured. He looked very sharp yesterday in training, which is probably why he got the nod. And he's made good impacts coming on as substitute, which is why he was on the bench. But then, you have to throw him in there after not training much. Obviously, it's something you can't plan for. And he did his best. He had some good moments, but as I say, when you pick a side and you've got a player with Luke's confidence after last week, it's a big disappointment. But I think also sometimes the reason why you don't see me getting too up a height when we win, and the reason why you don't see me getting too down when we lose, is because I think sometimes we do have to step back and understand where we are. We're in 10th place. We're I don't know, 3 or 4 points away from the playoffs after 11 games. Nearly a quarter of the way through the season. And what we've had to deal with, and what we've spent, and the speed in which we put a squad together, and the age of the squad, I think sometimes I don't forget it, but I hope everybody understands that. Where do people really think that we should be at this stage of the season? And I think we've done well enough to be a lot higher, but from compared to where people were expecting us to be, we're still in a decent position, which is why I don't go crazy with the players in the dressing room, because I know they don't mean to make these errors. But this today is sort of this is sort of me laying it down to them that it can't carry on. That it can't carry on. You can't stay in the team if you can't be reliable, and just hand it over to them. But they're a good bunch, and they'll be hurting tonight. And as I say, all we can do is look at it, reflect on it, and come back in Monday and go back to looking to win the very next game, because you can always win the next one.